J.J. Abrams can have all my franchises. He can have every last one of them.
Yeah, I don't know how involved he is in the movies to come.
Yeah.
I think he kind of just did this one, and then he's probably like getting an executive producer credit for not doing anything, kind of like he did with the later seasons of Lost.
Right, exactly. I'm sure he's off to revive some other beloved franchise now.
Yeah.
His work is needed elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, really though, like, is there anything? If J.J. Abrams said he wanted to pick up like literally any other franchise on the planet, would anyone try and stop him? Would anyone?
I want to see the J.J. Abrams Animorphs.
I'm like, if it came out that J.J. Abrams was secretly an enormous fan of those books, I would absolutely love to see what he would do with that franchise.
Yeah, sure.
Oh my god, it would be amazing.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh man, to see like an epic Andalites versus Yeerks space battle or whatever.
With lots and lots of taxons.
Oh yes, absolutely. So many taxons.
I'm Tom Dickinson.
And I'm Louis Midas.
And this is the Cloister Room,
a podcast about Doctor Who and other things.
The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Did you watch The Force Awakens?
No, I didn't.
Really?
I'm just guessing.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
I think The Force Awakens is a film that you don't even have to watch to know how it is.
Well, no, I mean, you just have to see the trailers.
Right. You see John Boyega, his head pop up.
John Boyega, egg de bodega.
You tweeted that, and it actually got stuck in my head for like 3 to 4 days after the fact.
It's still stuck in my head. It's something that that Reggie said in a recent episode of The Chapter Titles Were So Good. And I keep thinking of it every time I hear his name.
Well, there you go. Yeah. But yes, no, I did watch it. And I think
I was there.
I know you were there. I think this is the first time that we have ever watched a thing in each other's presence, then both went home, waited a few days, and are now talking about it on the internet.
Yeah, I've seen it twice.
Have you really? I have too.
Yeah, we saw it on Thursday night, and then on Friday morning at work, I was like, you know what? I really want to see that again. So I just booked a 5:30 ticket and just went straight from work to the theater and watched it again.
Oh wow! Now on your second viewing, was that in 3 dimensions?
That was in 2 dimensions.
Oh, okay. Me too. So we followed the exact same pattern here.
Yeah, my next viewing I plan to be in IMAX 3D.
I'm thinking about that,
but I don't know when because I'm trying to drag my parents to see it. So
now, are they opposed to IMAX or otherwise? Are they like maybe some of the people who get nauseous or whatever?
No, it's just that they're very busy, important people.
Oh, okay.
Who don't have time to watch a movie. Instead they'd rather just stay home and watch like 3 DVR'd episodes of NCIS Los Angeles.
Well, that's a tough choice though. NCIS Los Angeles or The Force Awakens.
Yeah. So, what did you think of The Force Awakens?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I've yet to meet a person who didn't love it, and I feel like they'd be a sour person indeed.
I have heard some people don't like it, but I have never discussed this with them or really understood their complaints.
Yeah, I feel like even if I heard their complaints, I still wouldn't understand them. I feel like. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I've heard like understandable complaints, but like I read a couple of the negative reviews on Rotten Tomatoes just because I was curious.
Oh yeah,
and it was also just like someone saying like basically the reviewer just didn't like Star Wars and so they didn't like this.
Oh,
which is like, okay, but your criteria of measurement of how good this movie is has nothing to do with mine. Right. So I guess it's understandable that you wouldn't like this. If you think Star Wars is dumb, then this is more of that.
Right. Well, and in some sense, you know, Rotten Tomato, like any kind of meta critic system thingy, whatever, it can never be like that good. I mean, it can't be perfect because, I mean, I guess you can have like a consensus where something can be 100% fresh. Was like Toy Story 3 100% fresh, or some, like there have been movies that have hit 100%.
Toy Story 3 was 100% for a while, and then film critic Armand White wrote like a scathing review of it, and he got a lot of hate for it.
Well,
and he his reviews, like, I don't think I've ever read anything he's written that I agreed with, but they're always like really super interesting.
Huh.
Like he takes this weird like perspective on it that I don't know. I wonder what he thought of this movie, but he drew comparisons to like, I don't know, obscure 1930s films, and like how it's like Toy Story 3 is like the commercialization of entertainment or something. Like, okay, sure, but I mean, I liked it. And I like this.
Right. Well, that's the thing is, like, it almost makes more sense to like find a critic who has similar opinions to you, and then after that point, only read that critic, and then you will be set. I mean, like, it won't like expand your mind in the sense that like you won't have people disagreeing with you, which I mean, I guess could be healthy. But like, you know, at least you'll always know which movies you'll like.
Well, yeah, and I think I was going to see this regardless of.
Well, right.
It would have been the Rotten Tomato scores would have had to be pretty bad. Like if it had dipped below 50, I might have started to think, oh wow, maybe I shouldn't see this at all. What to say about The Force Awakens?
I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah. Want to begin at the title crawl?
Yeah, sure.
It was very exciting to me, like, going into the title crawl and not knowing what was going to be there. Like, because I mean, you have episodes 2 and 3, which you already kind of knew a little bit about what was going to happen going in, like Attack of the Clones. Oh, this is going to be the start of the Clone Wars, and then Revenge of the Sith. Like, you all kind of know where this is going. But with this, I had absolutely no idea where it was going to start. And like the very first thing was like, Luke Skywalker is missing or whatever. Right. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like reading along, and I was like so raptly attentive to like, yes. I just loved just reading that yellow text as it scrolled by, because I had no idea where we were even starting, let alone where we were going.
Well, right, yeah, because you know this is set 30 years in the future, and any number of things can happen in 30 years. You know, I mean, like, I'm kind of curious. That's the thing is I love the backstory that we've once again gotten back to the idea where there's a backstory and we're not 100% familiar with it, and we just kind of have to take the characters at their words for what they say happened, and I like that. I like just being thrown into this thing where a lot of time has passed and we have no idea what's going on in the interim. You know, because everything that was supposed to have happened in the interim has been rendered non-canon. So like we the field is clear. We have no idea what happened, and so here we are finding out what's been going on in the 30 years since Return of the Jedi, and it's fascinating. I'm actually kind of curious, like where or like how long ago this stuff actually I want to know the actual. I want to pin down like the actual chronology on when all this stuff went down. Like, did this happen? Well, I guess it must have happened pretty. At least like a few years probably had to pass since the. Well, I mean, like after Return of the Jedi, before any of this stuff could go down. I mean, like because we don't know like at what point. Like what point like Kylo Ren or
Ben Solo.
Yeah, Ben Solo, we don't know at what point he turned or whatever, like or at least
presumably he was like older than 4 or 5.
Well, right. That stands to reason.
So, seeing as he wasn't born at the time of Return of the Jedi,
right,
and would have been born, I guess, within a few years after that,
it stands to reason
because this is supposed to be 30 years later, and looks like he's in his late 20s.
Right.
So, presumably this stuff happened, more like the stuff with like Luke's Jedi Academy failing because Kylo Ren murdered everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that must have happened more than 5 years ago, but let's say fewer than 15 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, and it like there's a lot of stuff in the interim that has yet to be spelled out.
Right.
And it's very exciting because there's so much to cover in subsequent films, and I'm guessing we're going to find out more about what happened there. I'm almost certain we're going to find out more about Rey's parentage.
Oh yeah, right.
Or her family, or her what happened when she got left on the planet Jakku.
Right.
Which is sometimes Jakku and is sometimes Jakku.
Tomato.
Yeah, Star Wars has always been kind of like that like the Millennium Falcon versus the Millennium Falcon. Yeah. Anyhow, so yeah, and like there are so many blanks to be filled in. Like there could be prequels to this movie.
Yeah, there could. I mean, like this is something that I think gets brought up a lot, or at least like I've heard it brought up where like having these things talked about is always better than actually seeing them play out. And so I kind of don't want there to be prequels, but there totally could.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, like that's the thing is I just love hearing about all this stuff all this just sort of this background stuff that just supposedly all happened, and and here we are now, just kind of thrown in the midst of it. I love that.
One thing that's very confusing in the film is what is the First Order, what is the Resistance, and what is the Republic?
Yes, thank you. Because I drew myself a diagram and it didn't help at all. But like, because, okay, so obviously the Resistance doesn't like the First Order. First Order does not like the Resistance.
Or the Republic.
Well, that's the thing. Well, right. So then there's the First Order also doesn't like the Republic, and vice versa. But then there's this third connection, the Resistance and the Republic. How do they feel about each other?
So I think I've got this figured out.
Okay.
And this is based on internet research.
Okay.
Because there's all this like ancillary material like Star Wars The Visual Dictionary, and like there's the novelization of this film, which I haven't read, and then there's other stuff out there too. So based on what I've seen, it seems to me like after Return of the Jedi,
mm-hmm.
the New Republic was formed,
mm-hmm.
and what was left of the Empire kind of stuck around for a while, still fighting to the last man or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Which is how it was in the old, now non-canon expanded universe. They eventually settled into like an uneasy peace between the New Republic and what was called the Imperial Remnant. Whereas in this case, it's the New Republic and the First Order. So these are two different governments that control different sectors of space
mm-hmm.
that are in conflict with one another.
Mm-hmm.
The thing in The Force Awakens is that the First Order has plans to like seize power again.
Mm-hmm.
And the Republic has no interest in going to war again, so they're kind of denying that there's a problem. So the Resistance is Leia's personal army, basically, where she has kind of gone rogue and is fighting the fight that the Republic won't fight. Except, I guess, the Republic is also kind of secretly on the side, but not openly, providing some support to the Resistance. And the First Order is super mad about that. And that's why, like, in the big, Nazi scene or whatever, like, General Hux is ranting at the assembled stormtroopers, and he's like, the Republic lies and they provide support to the horrible Resistance. Yeah, so the Resistance is like this, it's not affiliated with any government, it's just Leia's own personal thing.
Okay. Huh. All right, that makes a bit of sense. Like that was something that like I walked away like upon first viewing, I completely forgot that the Republic and the Resistance were not the same thing.
Yeah,
it's difficult because they both begin with R. So in my mind, I just sort of parse them into the same. I don't know, the same bucket or whatever. And they're basically like in as far as this movie is concerned, I guess they're the good guys. Well, I mean, I guess you could consider the Republic to be neither good or bad if they just want to sit around and do nothing. I mean, I guess it depends on your definition of good. But so okay, on my second viewing, I remembered that there was like a resistance and a republic, and I wasn't sure because I thought. Because I thought that, the Republic had reestablished, order or whatever, and so there was no, so anyone who's not going along with the Republic, wouldn't they be the ones who were doing the resisting, So, but it makes much more sense to me that that we're like that the resistance is like 3 layers deep, where like there's the Republic on top who want things one way. And then there's the First Order who don't want things that way, and then there's the Resistance who doesn't want the First Order to want not what the Republic wants.
Yeah.
Wait, no, but yeah, okay. So okay, all right, I got it.
This could have been explained a little bit better in the film, but
right.
It doesn't matter that much because it's pretty clear. Resistance good, First Order bad. Republic gets vaporized, or so the Republic capital gets completely demolished.
Right. By the end of the film,
is there even a Republic anymore? It's not clear.
Well, it's a good question. Yeah, I mean, it feels like all that's left is now this scrappy bunch of resistance fighters, which is which is the status quo, I think.
Yeah, it takes it back to where it was, in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I mean, it's kind of depressing.
A little bit.
But
yeah.
after all we went through in the trilogy, it was all leading up to this. But oh well.
Yeah, I mean, these things are bad.
It's Star Wars. It's not Star Peace.
Exactly. Yeah, like that's crazy to think that there wouldn't be at least one war. I mean, the word is plural.
Yeah. So the title crawl says something like the Republic is the government that supports the resistance, which, I mean, that doesn't mean anything. So it's just, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't really need to be explained all that much, but I would have appreciated maybe a tiny bit more than we got.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's the thing is, like, thankfully it is a pretty simple. The politics of this are pretty simple, so it doesn't require an in-depth explanation like what I don't know, like what the Phantom Menace gave.
It doesn't require like interminable scenes of people sitting around in meeting rooms and then going into the Senate and then like just sitting around in a circle talking about about how the balance of power is shifting. Yeah, so
right.
maybe this is for the better.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's the thing is, give us a very simple and straightforward situation. Don't go overboard explaining it, and just let us suss it out later, or maybe just completely gloss over it because we don't actually care. Either one of those two.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, Well, yeah, that's the thing is, like, yeah, there was very little. Yeah, I don't think there was really any room or any time to explain anything because they kind of were nonstop with the action.
That was the thing. That was the main thing I kind of took away from this film is that it was absolutely nonstop from one action scene to the next.
Oh yeah,
with very few pauses for breath, and the ones that were there were good. But
yeah,
it was like I was saying this to my sister on the car ride home that the thing about the prequels, and so much of what's good about this movie I conceive of as an antidote to what's bad in the prequels. But the thing about the prequels is that it's just like boring meeting scenes, like punctuated by occasional like set pieces that don't have anything to do with anything. Like now we're going to have Anakin and Padme in a room talking, and now we're going to have Anakin and Obi-Wan on some flying cars, jumping around from one car to the next for some reason, and
right.
None of it just has anything to do with anything.
Right.
Whereas this is just like everything is propulsively moving forward in action scenes that are, driven by character and plot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is like the action scenes in this. I mean, they were not as choreographed as the action scenes in the prequels, so they weren't as like technically impressive. Like the lightsaber fight was not like super fancy tricks and whatnot, but it was. I think it was like better scenes because they were more dramatic scenes.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, a lot of the lightsaber fights in this movie are where at least 50%. Well, yeah, I guess exactly 50% of the combatants are untrained, and so you wouldn't expect like a bunch of flips and spins and twirls and whatnot. You wouldn't really expect that, and if they did that, it probably wouldn't be that believable.
Yeah, and Kylo Ren's not supposed to be completely trained either.
Right. Yeah, they make that point about him needing to complete his training.
And also, like, he's constantly, like, he's like a big whiny baby, and he's like constantly taking out the lightsaber and slashing holes all over the place, and like, he's such a I don't know, he's such a weird, messed up guy.
Right.
And so yeah, it's like, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't quite reach the level of like lightsaber incompetency as A New Hope, where it's just like Vader and Obi-Wan kind of, standing there kind of hitting each other a bit. But
right.
It's they're much more like dramatic scenes than in the prequels, which is just like, all right, now we're done with the plot. Let's just have like a 10-minute choreographed lightsaber fight.
Right.
And then at the end, someone's going to get a limb chopped off.
Right. That's how those things end. But yeah. I mean, like, that's the thing is, were there more than... Hang on. I'm trying to think of like each individual lightsaber fight. Obviously, there was the big fight at the end where it was both Finn and Rey, in turn trying to fight Kylo Ren, and then there was
Finn fighting with a stormtrooper who had some kind of anti-lightsaber axe.
Right. Man, I bet that stormtrooper was so psyched to finally get to be able to use that. Because I mean, like, how many lightsabers does he really encounter?
Well, yeah, and I imagine they've been trained in it, which is probably why Finn is not a complete incompetent when it comes to lightsaber use.
Oh, right.
Like, he's able to do at least a little bit of it. But yeah, that's another thing that's so great. Like, in most of the time, the stormtroopers are just completely faceless, personalityless, just like drones of the Empire. But that one sees Finn and yells "traitor" and is obviously angry.
Yeah,
and like, it's not a character with a face or a name or anything, but it's at the very least like it's a character who feels something and whose actions are motivated by some kind of opinion or position about something.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, because the stormtroopers do kind of like. I mean, obviously there's Finn, who obviously has a personality, because and it's weird. Like, that was one of the weirdest things, and kind of one of the coolest things about the opening few minutes of this movie is you saw a stormtrooper basically having like PTSD. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was so fascinating, because usually you just see them run in, they shoot the thing that needs shooting. They miss a lot, but then the thing gets done and then they leave, or they all die. One of those two. But here we have one who's like actually like emotionally distraught, and you can see it just in his body language.
Yeah, and it's not clear as to why him.
Right.
Maybe it's because he's a janitor who just got bumped up to combat duty.
Yeah.
I know there's some conspiracy theorying that he's like, maybe he's got the Force 2 or something like that, which may be true. I don't know. That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing is, he's, that's like, well, because in all the promotional material, he was the one wielding the lightsaber, and I think, in the broader sort of just like in the mindset going in was that like, oh, he's gonna be the Force user, that's gonna come out of this.
Yeah, I think that was a deliberate mislead.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. Yeah, so it would actually be kind of weird if it turns out he can use the Force, although but not impossible for sure.
Right.
But yeah, huh?
Because I mean, it seems like he was taken out of it from his family, before he even had a name.
Right.
And turned into a stormtrooper. So we don't know anything about where he comes from. He might be kind of like that's what the Jedi used to do. They used to take very young children from their families and train them to be Jedi. So it could be that. He just happened to be born at the wrong time, where he got taken to be a stormtrooper instead of a Jedi.
Right, yeah, huh. Yeah, so, and that, oh God, it's so exciting to have all this in front of us. Like, we have no idea what's coming. Like, I mean, it's so exciting. I mean, like, because that's the thing with the prequel trilogy, we kind of knew where we were going to end up.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was kind of a different thing where it's like, we were really just waiting to see how we got to where we know we're going to be. If that made sense as an English sentence. And so it was a different kind of fun. It was a different kind of, I mean, to the extent the prequels were fun, it was just interesting to see how we got to where, A New Hope picks up. But now we're completely free. We're completely free of any expectation or predetermination or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It could go anywhere.
Yeah. And that's the thing that was most exciting for me. Like, at the end, I was like, wow, this is, not only has there been a good Star Wars movie, there's like an incredibly good setup for whatever is happening next.
Right.
In fact, the thing I loved the most about the movie was not, seeing the old favorite characters return. It was all the new characters.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I absolutely loved Poe, who was the first one we were introduced to.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's that opening scene where, you get the stormtroopers coming down and slaughtering a village.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was still like, I don't really know how I feel about this movie, because this could be the beginning of a very good movie or a very bad movie. I just don't know yet. And then, Poe gets kind of caught, and then he's like in front of Kylo Ren, and he's like, now who talks first? You talk or I talk? And then it was at that point where I was like, oh, wait a second. I absolutely love this character. So it was from that point on, I was like, oh my God, I'm so on board with this movie. And he was great. Finn was great. Rey was phenomenal. I love Rey so much.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that's the thing is, like all of our quote unquote main characters are, fantastic. Like, I am so on board with watching them, grow and develop as characters, and I'm so fascinated to see what they're going to go and do next. Like all of it. Like, I mean, just like, and it's so good.
There's one thing I kind of resent, and it's that the movie ends up in a place where, like, I just want new, like, because I've always been like a Star Wars EU junkie. Mm-hmm. I just want new, like, EU stuff post The Force Awakens with these characters. But it's clear to me that the plot leaves them in a place where we're not supposed to see them until the next movie. Like, we're not going to get, like, a book or a comic that follows up on that meeting between Rey and Luke at the very end of the movie.
Oh, right.
Like, that's not going to happen.
No.
But and like, we're not going to get, I mean, maybe we'll get like Finn and Poe adventures. Which I'd be all down for. But after I saw this movie the second time, I immediately went out and bought some books and comics.
Oh, really?
Like Star Wars books and comics, because I was like, oh man, I just need more Star Wars. So I went out and I bought Shattered Empire, which is the sort of like post Return of the Jedi thing that tells the story of Poe's mother and father in the rebellion. Yeah, but I want more with these characters. That's what I want.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. Well, yeah. You certainly can't, because obviously, like you certainly can't do anything with Rey post, right? Like post this movie, because like it ended on that cliffhanger. I guess theoretically you could maybe say that there was a span of time in between when she, like when they got back from blowing up. Did the planet have a name?
Starkiller Base was the name.
Oh,
of the planet,
Starkiller.
I think.
Right. Okay. Yeah. When they got done blowing up Starkiller Base, and in between that time and when she actually leaves to go find Luke, you could say maybe there was some span of time while they were, I don't know, analyzing data or plotting a course or whatever. I don't know.
Oh yeah, or there could be like a Rey, Chewie, and R2 adventure.
Oh right.
En route.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they could do something, but yeah, whatever they can do, I'm looking forward to not just more movies with these characters, because obviously I need more movies with these characters, but
no, of course.
I want there to be as many good and crappy novels and comics with these characters as there were about their Legends counterparts.
Yeah, there you go. Well, now, so like Han and Leia did in fact have children in the old expanded universe.
Yeah, in the old Legends canon, they had 3 kids.
Oh, okay.
One of whom, they had twins, Jason and Jaina, and they had a third son named Anakin. And Anakin died heroically when he was in his like mid-teens, like 15 or 16.
Wow.
Jason and Jaina, when they were in their 30s, Jason just went Sith for some reason.
Okay.
And turned super evil, and then Jaina had to kill him. And he died completely unredeemed. And so the whole notion, like, Han and Leia have a son that turns evil, that was spoiled for me.
Really?
Yeah, I was spoiled about the fact that Kylo Ren was their son and that he killed Han.
Oh wow, that was spoiled for you?
Those 2 things were spoiled.
Holy like, really?
Yeah, although, you know what? Neither of those was terribly surprising to me. Maybe it was because, A, I went in expecting expecting that, okay, some of these characters are the children of some of the characters we know. That's almost a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
And, Han and Leia have a son who turns to the dark side. That's familiar to me. So, Kylo's the new Jason. Oh, well, all right. And also, I was expecting Han Solo to die.
Were you really? Like,
yeah, because
like
I know...
even before you heard the spoiler?
Oh, yeah. Because I know Harrison Ford always wanted Han Solo to die in Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. Really? Yeah, he always thought it would be better if he died. And I think him being frozen in carbonite was originally going to be, or like Harrison argued for him dying. But yeah, and I figured that he's always kind of been ambivalent about Star Wars. So I figured, all right, they must have something really good here to bring him back. So my guess was that the movie was going to focus on him a lot, and then he was going to die.
Ah, interesting.
So it was. I mean, obviously, I was a little annoyed to have that confirmed, but it wasn't terribly surprising to me, and so much of the movie was completely unknown to me that I was much more interested in how we got to that point than I was about either of those two facts.
Right.
So I didn't really find the experience in any way lessened for knowing those things.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I was actually going to ask you because I remember seeing on Twitter you said you saw a spoiler, and I assume that was it.
Yeah, someone was tweeting spoilers to people who had talked about Star Wars.
Ah, that's terrible.
Yeah,
that's the worst.
Yeah, there was also like some campaign of people who like the Bring Back Legends campaign. People protesting the decanonization of the old expanded universe. Who decided they wanted to spoil the movie for everyone just as a form of protest. It could have been those people. I don't know, but
that's horrible. That's that's the worst.
Yeah. Ultimately, I thought this movie was too good to be spoiled by something like that, though. So,
well, yeah, that's the thing is like there's so many moments that like that were good that didn't rely on secrecy in order for them to be good, or just like wouldn't have had the necessary context to be a spoiler. Like you couldn't craft like I don't know the hilarious scene where Finn gives BB-8 a thumbs up and BB-8 replies with like a lighter. Like that was like hilarious and like definitely added to like my enjoyment of the movie. But like you couldn't have spoiled that. Like there's no way that could have been spoiled in any conceivable way unless I guess they show me that scene. But like, so like, yeah, there's a lot in this movie that like was just so good. And like, even if you'd been spoiled on all the spoilery plot stuff, it still would have been an enjoyable thing to watch. Yeah. Cause the main things I ended up enjoying were the things that you couldn't possibly have spoiled for me. Like just seeing Rey and Finn get to trust one another. Right. Like, I mean, you can't spoil that for anyone. You can't just like spoiler. They are uneasy at first, but they learn to trust one another. Or like just the complete like feeling of elation when Finn and Poe run into one another again towards the third act of the movie. Yeah, like all that stuff was just like it was so wonderful. Yeah. I can kind of like, I mean, obviously in a lot of ways this film like mirrored A New Hope. Yeah, but like I didn't think that was like a bad thing at all. Like I mean I could see how some people would like consider that to be kind of would like bring it down in their estimation, but I mean like I think it did a really good job of taking like a really familiar story and putting a tiny little bit of a new spin on it, and but just as a broader concept, just to like as a way to like remind us of all the great things about Star Wars. Which, yeah, this was not groundbreaking or mind blowing, really. Right. It was just supremely enjoyable. Right. And I think what Star Wars needed right now was a factory reset, basically. Right, and exactly. That's what it is. Like and there were so many parts of it where it was almost like A New Hope, but not quite. Right. Like for the first like third of the movie, I kept trying to say, okay, which one's the Han? Which one's the Leia? And I was like, oh, interesting. Poe is the Leia because he's crouching down and putting something into the droid, and then he goes and gets tortured. But he's like, none of the characters are really like the previous characters. They're just their own awesome characters. Right. Yeah. But it's like you have the MacGuffin in the droid, and it's like this is basically another Death Star. Right. And all sorts of stuff like that, where it's just like, this is our factory reset.
And I think and hope that the next movie is going to be a little bit more daring and original.
Right.
Because I think Rian Johnson is a really interesting director.
Now, what has he done?
His sort of big, first big indie movie hit was Brick, which is like a high school film noir.
I've seen that. I don't remember when, but I definitely have seen that.
Yeah, and he also did a movie called The Brothers Bloom, and he did Looper, which is the one with Bruce Willis and what's his name? Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yes.
Yeah. And he also directed some of the best episodes of Breaking Bad. Like he did The Fly.
Oh, wow.
And he did the Ozymandias, which is the big one with the big climactic violence late in the final season.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
So he's a fantastic director. Who I think he's gonna do something a little less familiar, or at least I hope so, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, wow, that would be really something. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. No, I agree with you. I think they really need to, and I would be extremely disappointed if episode 8 plays it safe or something, or mirrors the events of like The Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi or something like that. That would be like kind of upsetting to me. I want, like, this was the thing, was like, episode 7 did such a good job of like reestablishing, it was like a reset where like we reestablished what was great about this universe. And now that foundation has been laid, now let's build weird things on top of it. And so I don't want them to do anything similar to what's been done in the past now. I mean, like, I think it worked great, but I hope they don't do it again. Like, that would be disappointing.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure if they did something that was more in this vein, it would be enjoyable. Mm-hmm. But I do think if we're gonna have a new Star Wars movie every year for the foreseeable future,
right? Then
this kind of thing would get stale after a while.
Right. Yeah. So we can't have that.
Absolutely not.
But yeah. I feel like they're really gonna have, and that's the even more exciting thing, is because like I know what followed A New Hope. Like I know what comes after that, and this movie is so similar to that. Now I'm interested to see how this is gonna diverge and how this is gonna go in a completely different direction. So like that's exciting too. Like yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
I have to say I was a little bit disappointed by the fact that Luke was just a cameo. It was. I think it was the right decision to do, because what I'm hoping is that he's going to have a really major role in the next one.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, I did think the whole search for Luke was a really good way to reintroduce it, basically.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. And it's funny because I in all the promotion leading up to this movie, Luke was really absent. Like if he's even on the poster,
he's not.
Okay, yeah. So like that's the thing is, I kind of figured he's probably not in this movie all that much. And I mean, yeah, it was a little bit annoying that all he got was a cameo. He doesn't even speak. But that's the thing is right. If we know one thing about this next movie, it's that it's gonna be really, really heavy on Luke Skywalker. So that's good at least.
Yeah, I hope we get more of Luke and Leia.
Yeah,
I thought that with good reason they kind of made Han Solo very central in this movie.
Right.
And they don't need to lean on the returning cast anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I would love to see like Luke and Leia have a scene together or something like that. Yeah. So.
Well, yeah. That's the thing. Yeah, that's the other thing this movie did is that like in addition to psyching us up for Star Wars again, and bringing back like old cast members, to help that along. They've now have this great new cast that like now we are attached to. So now we can just follow them and that's fine. And I like that. I think they did like a great job of that. So yeah, but yeah, I do agree. I think like, any more that we can see of Luke and Leia, I think would be great. Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, like that's the thing is like, Luke got barely any screen time at all, but Leia also didn't get a whole lot either. So yeah, I would love to see more of her as well.
Yeah, she I mean, what little she had was like an important role, but it wasn't that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I imagine, they had to throw a lot into this movie.
Oh yeah.
So they didn't have time to like do, every character, I guess. But, it'd be kind of cool if maybe the next one will focus on Luke and maybe the one after that will focus on Leia or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. They could do any number of things. Or maybe they could just do a movie that's just mostly Akbar.
Yeah, yeah, I'd be down with that.
One thing I disliked about the movie,
okay,
was the map.
The map.
I thought the map was really kind of stupid.
There's like, so yeah. I mean, if I have to have like a critique of this, I mean, I kind of like sort of imagined in my head like, okay, I guess no. Not even like. Are you telling me that there is not Are you telling me that they have not completely mapped out this entire galaxy? Are you telling me that like the only record keepers who have like excellent records are the First Order? Like, are you telling me? Come on. Are you telling me that the Republic doesn't have some map? And then
like a tenth of the galaxy is missing from the map, but BB-8 or this random old guy on Jakku, played by, veteran actor Max von Sydow, happens to just have the rest of the map.
Right.
It's just, I wish it hadn't been like a literal map.
Right. It was like a treasure map because there was an actual dotted line that led to Skywalker. I don't understand how that works. Did you have to fly that very specific path? Like, I don't get it. Like, yeah. Right? Like, there was like, did I imagine that? Did I hallucinate that? Or was there like a bright dotted orange?
There was a bright dotted red line. Okay. Maybe it could have been like a riddle they had to solve or something, or just coordinates where, right. You need half of it is in R2-D2 and half of it is, with this old guy. Yeah, or there's coordinates. Because the whole notion of like, where is Luke? He is at the lost location of the first ever Jedi temple. Right. That's a cool idea. Yeah. It's just, we need this literal map that no one, you see this one section of it out of context and it's meaningless, right, unless you place it in the context of another map that has a hole in it. Right. Yeah, that's. And R2-D2 just wakes up at exactly the right time. Right. I mean, like, yeah, come on. That seems a little too. Unless, like, I don't know. Did maybe Luke give him some kind of order about like, just go to sleep go to sleep until I don't know, he could have said something, and maybe R2-D2 like misinterpreted what he said, so that he like he interpreted what he said like as a literal order, so that like, okay, I will sleep for 96 million minutes and then I'll wake up, or not even like I'll wake up when there's a lot of cheering going on or something. Like, okay, once there's a planet blown up, then it's time to wake up. Like, I don't know. So I read J.J. Abrams' explanation of what all this is. Oh, okay. Okay. So basically, he seems to be taking the position that no one has mapped the galaxy. All right. And that the only map of the galaxy, for whatever reason, was in the Imperial records. So R2-D2 in the A New Hope, when he interfaces with the Death Star, he gets that map. And has been carrying it around ever since. Wow. And he goes into low power mode, and then when the first time we see him, BB-8 kind of goes up to him and tries to wake him up. Mm-hmm. And it's because he's in low power mode, it just takes him a long time to start up. Kind of like how, if you got an old computer, it might take a couple weeks to start up. Right. Yeah. No, that happens. So it takes him like a day or two to wake up. So he just wakes up when he's ready. Okay. Huh. All right. Well, I mean, at least someone has an explanation. I mean, it would have been nice as the director if he had incorporated that somehow into the film. But, whatever. Yeah, I mean, I was hoping it could be something cool, like Luke was like, don't wake up until you've got, like, my lightsaber in the proximity, or something like that. Oh, yeah, it could be like a Bluetooth thing. Yeah, exactly. Like they're paired. Yeah. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Yeah. Speaking of that, I wonder where that lightsaber came from. Well, right, because I forget the character's name. Maz Kanata. Maz Kanata. Yeah, so she's got it. And that's not his Return of the Jedi lightsaber. That's his lightsaber that he loses in Empire Strikes Back when his hand gets cut off. Right. So okay, so she presumably obtained it like from a janitor in Cloud City. Yeah.
who was sweeping out that cavernous installation or whatever, and he just found it, and he put it on he put it on Cloud City eBay.
Yeah. Now in the old expanded universe, when Luke's hand got cut off, the Empire retrieved it and used it to make a clone of him named Luke Skywalker with 2 U's, and he was an evil clone. And there was this lady who was tormented by the Emperor's last command, which was, "You will kill Luke Skywalker." But she didn't want to kill Luke Skywalker, so instead she killed Luke Skywalker, which ended the torment, and eventually she and Luke got married, and they had a son named Ben Skywalker.
Wow. All right. So was this Mara Jade?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
She was the Emperor's hand, and so she was like tormented by the echoing voice of his last command, which was, "You will kill Luke Skywalker." And I guess he said he must have elongated the U enough that killing Luke Skywalker, the clone, with 2 U's, satisfied the condition.
God, I am so sad that all this has been erased.
This is from one of the most beloved expanded universe novels, and I'm not joking.
Okay. No, I believe it.
The one that everyone always says they love, the one that everyone reveres is the Thrawn trilogy.
Okay.
By Timothy Zahn. And that's what this is from. This is the plot of the Thrawn trilogy, or it's part of the plot of the Thrawn trilogy.
Huh. Okay. No, and it sounds...
There are dumber things in the expanded universe, but not many.
I don't doubt it. I really... Well, this is the thing. You're gonna, like, with such a rich universe, like Star Wars, so you're gonna get some pretty dumb things.
Yeah, like death sticks.
Death sticks. What? I don't think I've ever. It's a drug, right?
Yeah, it's a drug that's mentioned in Attack of the Clones.
Is that
the character Elan Slizbagano tries to sell Obi-Wan Kenobi some death sticks?
Oh, I love that he has a name, but of course he does.
Yeah, he's a sleazebag, so his name is Slizbagano.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I could see that. Sure. I think that's kind of mean of his parents, because that's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy there.
Well, I mean, that's their last name, so.
Oh, yeah, all right. Well, they could have...
It's a family name.
They could have changed it. Probably.
I guess they could have.
Unless, I don't know, I guess they're just a proud family of Slizbaganos. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay. Well, all right. I loved, like, kind of poking fun at, like, at the original trilogy, like, making references, like, you know, it was 12 parsecs, not 14 parsecs.
Yeah, that's cute.
Ray calling the Millennium Falcon junk.
Oh, that was so good. Like, she just says, "That one's garbage," and then, let's do that one, and then it blows up, and then it pans over to the Millennium Falcon. I love that.
Yeah. Well, that was so great. Like, how they just went. They really did. Like, they went from like one escape to being captured to escaping to being captured.
It's like an episode of Doctor Who.
It really was. It was so great. That was all so great.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly can't wait to see this film again.
I've
already seen it twice, and I really do want to see it again.
Yeah,
because it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
Also, I think Kylo Ren is a I love how he's like a great villain, not in the sense that like he's like, ooh, he's so cool and evil. He's just like such a screwed up weirdo,
right?
And I love it.
Yeah.
I just like the idea of someone who talks about being tormented by the light side as a tempting force, much the way that someone would talk about being tempted by the dark side.
Right.
It's like the opposite.
Yeah. It's almost like, in some of those scenes he almost did kind of remind me a little bit of Anakin, like, where he's kind of tormented like that. Although like obviously Anakin was tormented the other way around, so he was. But yeah, like that. Yeah, that sort of, it is so fascinating because like you got with like Darth's what's his, like the Emperor, when you got with the Emperor, like he was obviously just like 100% evil, like I mean no question, and no real more motives beyond just let's be evil, and like Darth Vader, like like obviously, which is obviously Anakin, he in the original trilogy, he seems pretty single-minded in his evilness, and like it's only in the final moments of Return of the Jedi where that changes.
Yeah, he's as surprised as anyone that
Right.
that there was still anything good left in him.
Right, yeah. So, but yeah, to have this kind of like tortured young villain who really wants to be bad but is kind of struggling with it, like that's fascinating. That is something. I guess that's something that really is different with this film.
And he wears a mask for apparently no reason other than just like Vader fanboyism.
Right, yeah.
He doesn't need it to breathe or anything. He just puts it on and puts a little effect on his voice, and he thinks it makes it sound cool, and it doesn't. And he sometimes tries to like be like, oh, big dramatic pronouncements, but he's also like super colloquial in the way he talks sometimes. And he's just he throws these temper tantrums.
Yeah.
And he's got like a workplace rival with General Hux, who's like this total like, snippy, mean guy. He's like a Percy Weasley or something. Yeah.
That's so much more interesting than just like a straight up evil guy. Like, I mean, like, obviously, like, like when you got Vader, who's just like so, he's someone you love to hate for that reason, where like he's just like he's so bad, But like, here is that kind of different thing where it's just so he's so entertaining to watch. And it's not for the same reasons where you're just like where you just love hating him. It's that like he's such a fascinating character. I love it. Like he's like definitely like an angry. I guess he's no longer a teenager, but he's definitely an angry like ex-teenager. And it's like that's so interesting.
And you just wonder, is there redemption for that guy after he like kills Han Solo in cold blood?
Well, right, yeah. Like that's the thing is like because like unlike you, I was not expecting any. I mean, in retrospect, I probably should have been expecting at least one of the original trilogy characters to die. But I wasn't expecting Han Solo to die until that scene where I was like where like he was standing within a foot of Kylo Ren, and I was like, okay, well,
over a giant chasm,
right? Okay, well, there's no good way this could end, like, because like there's no way, like, I mean, all right, Han is talking to him like, oh, just come home, it's fine, like, okay, no, that's not gonna happen. There's no way that can happen. So the next best thing is he's gonna kill him. Someone's gonna get killed, and it's probably not the only villain we have.
Yeah, I mean, like in the Phantom Menace, Darth Maul died, but Darth Maul always felt kind of disposable.
Right, yeah.
Whereas this feels like this is a significant character,
right,
who has something to him, and killing him off at this point just wouldn't make any sense because he's clearly our main antagonist.
Right, yeah. So there's although that would have been one heck of a surprise if it had been him that got killed, because then where would we go from there? But yeah, and if they had done that, like I would have probably been shocked, like that they could dispose of what seemed to be such an important villain so easily. Although that wouldn't make sense really for the arc of the story. Like, where would you go after that scene? That wouldn't have made any sense. So yeah. It always had to be Han. But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you think of Supreme Leader Snoke?
Do you think he's really that big, or do you think...
No, I think he's a man behind the curtain, basically.
Yeah. Well, it's like, but you see, like that was a thing in the wait, was it the original movie, or did it get added in by Lucas?
In Empire Strikes Back,
right.
You have the giant floating head.
Right. Was that in the original? Was that in the original, or was that added in?
That was in the original, but if you look at the DVD edition, it's completely different.
Ah.
Like they've reshot the Emperor. Like the Emperor was in the original, he was played by some, like, physically it was some old woman's face. The eyes were the eyes of a baboon spliced in. And then the voice was some other person, but like in the new special editions, it's just Ian McDiarmid.
Interesting. It's weird how Lucas felt compelled to do that. I guess it makes just about as much sense as anything. It certainly makes as much sense as Hayden Christensen being spliced into the end of Return of the Jedi. So.
Sure.
Actually, that makes less sense, but whatever. But yeah, so okay, no. Well, yeah, so that's the thing is like, well, it makes so much sense though, because like you get instances where like you get the little hologram Skype call or whatever, where like the one person's really tiny, and you see that a lot, but very rarely do you see what their perspective looks like. And I mean, like, generally they're looking up, so you got to figure it must look that like proportionally they must be the same, like on either end. So yeah, you'd expect him to be this giant dude. I don't know why he can't get a desk to keep his little hologram thingy on, so he doesn't have to look so far down. But whatever.
Well, he just wants to be intimidating.
I guess so.
But my theory, and I don't know if this is true, but my theory is that he's actually just like a human, who's using like this big weird alien as a disguise, and that when we eventually meet him, it's just going to be Andy Serkis as Andy Serkis.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, sure, why not? Well, right, because like we just see like a hologram of him. That could be anything. I mean, like, I very much doubt. With all this technology, I very much doubt that they can't like make themselves look like anything in a hologram. I mean, like, what if you want to like anonymize yourself? It's like, like you can do it with the voice where you like make it sound all deep or whatever, like some sort of, I don't know what that's called, but it's the same kind of thing. You just like if you're, if you're like trying to negotiate, like if you have a hostage and you don't want your identity known, and you're calling with the FBI or whatever, or to list your demands, you want to have like a transformed voice or whatever. So same thing. Like you want to have that with holograms. So I imagine the same thing kind of has to work that same way, where you can make yourself look like anything you want, really.
Yeah, like the internet.
It is just like the internet.
So what do you think Rey's deal is? What's her background?
I don't know what I think she is, but what I hope she's not is a descendant of Luke, because I don't want that. I mean, like, it would be fine if it were, but like I kind of hope it's something else.
Yeah, I don't think that makes sense that she would be a descendant of Luke. I mean, that seems to be the big theory going around on the internet.
Yeah.
I think she's Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Did Obi-Wan have kids?
Not that we know of.
Oh, well, right, but. Right. Well, the canon's thrown out anyway, so who knows?
Well, right, exactly. So I think that I think she's a Kenobi, and there are two main reasons I think this. The first reason is because her sort of big, discovery that she has the powers is the Jedi mind trick, which is, it's a general Jedi thing that all the Jedi can apparently do, but in the movies, it's most closely associated with Obi-Wan, I think. Like, it's his signature move.
That's true.
That is how I feel about it. Maybe other people feel differently, but so I think that's a tie. And another thing is Obi-Wan's voice is prominently featured in her dream sequence.
Is it really?
Yeah, and in fact, it's actually Alec Guinness and Ewan McGregor.
Really?
Yeah, they have a clip of Alec Guinness saying Rey. And the way they have this is they took a clip of him saying the word afraid and truncated it so it sounds like him saying Rey. And it also says, you've taken your first steps, which is like a paraphrase from A New Hope. You've taken your first steps into a larger world. So I honestly do think that it's Obi-Wan's daughter or granddaughter.
Wow, that makes so much sense. And also, I mean, it also makes sense because
granddaughter would have to be, because Obi-Wan would be dead.
Well, right, yeah. Well, anyhow. So like, right, because this makes so much sense because, well, I mean, just like, every movie, every single Star Wars movie has had Obi-Wan Kenobi in it. So there's always been a Kenobi. So you almost can't have a Star Wars movie without a Kenobi.
That's how I felt. I felt like they're kind of, it's kind of like he's intertwined with the Skywalkers.
Right.
And it's also here's a third point that I only just thought of now. It's Obi-Wan who gives that lightsaber to Luke. And this movie ends with her giving that lightsaber to Luke.
Wow, yeah.
So like Obi-Wan is the keeper of that lightsaber in a way.
Huh.
So yeah, that is what I think. That's where I've fallen down.
Yeah. Oh, and it would be so nuts to have having a Skywalker train a Kenobi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
The circle is complete.
Yeah. There. Exactly. Yeah. Wow. That sounds so good. That makes so much sense.
But there are a couple of odd things. There's a lot of odd things in her little dream sequence.
Oh yeah.
Like she has this vision of Kylo Ren and his buddies of some kind standing amidst a bunch of dead bodies in the rain.
Right.
And also when some Imperial officer brings Kylo the news that BB-8 has escaped in the company of that stormtrooper, he throws like a tantrum and starts slashing the wall.
Yeah.
But then when they say that he was accompanied by a girl, he sort of turns around and force chokes them and says, "What girl?"
Oh, right.
So it seems to me that she has some kind of past with Kylo Ren that maybe she doesn't know about, but he does. Or she's in some way tied to what happened when Kylo Ren turned on Luke. But I don't know. And I mean, that would seem to indicate more that she would be descended from Luke, but I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a lot more to her story that we've yet to hear.
Well, right, yeah. Well, yeah, like that whole flashback, yeah, seems like, or well, not yeah, that whole dream sequence or whatever you want to call it. I mean, I guess it's also a flashback. It's weird how those things are supposedly tied to her. Like in a lot of ways, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, so I'm kind of hoping, yeah, I would really like that to go somewhere, Because I mean, like, and well, right? Because some of that stuff is definitely hers. Like, she has like there is like a brief flash of her, I guess, getting left on Jakku. So I mean, yeah, I guess it's got to all be stuff that actually happened, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
well, some of it could be the future.
Well, right, because like if I recall correctly, there is that, like, you get like I think the last thing she sees is Kylo Ren in that forest at the end of the film. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Some of that could be yet to be seen. So,
and
yeah.
also, when Kylo is reading her mind, he says something about how she dreams of an island. And it's not clear. It's obviously not clear yet whether she's been there before to that island. So that could be something in her past or in her future. We don't know. But I mean, it is. She goes to the island at the end, so it could be that he's seeing her future.
Right. Huh. Yeah. Wow. Right. Yeah. Huh. I didn't even piece that together.
Yeah. There's so many reasons that I need to see this movie again. But yeah, I am definitely interested to see not just like what's her secret background, but also like what's her forward path going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Geez. Yeah. Like that's the thing is like, oh man, I love this movie so much for how excited it has gotten me for these characters. Like, it just did such a good job of that. Yeah, like, it's going to be really, really, like, I'm so excited for this next movie now.
Well, I'm almost a little bit resentful that the next movie we're getting isn't actually
right.
Episode 8. It's Rogue One.
Right, and that is when is that set?
Well, they're not using the term prequel, and perhaps with good reason.
Right.
But it is a prequel. It's a prequel to A New Hope.
Oh.
And it deals with the stealing of the Death Star plans. Which is sort of the immediate the background of that movie,
right?
So there's been all kinds of speculation as to whether like they're going to cast a young Princess Leia or something like that. But
so is this going to feature many Bothans, or was that the other Death Star plans?
That was the other Death Star.
Okay,
plans.
All right. So there no Bothans in this one.
I don't know if there will be any Bothans.
Okay, huh? Interesting. So that'll have. So that'll have potentially characters we know, but possibly not.
Well, yeah, and the cast has been announced, but none of their roles have been confirmed. Like I think Alan Tudyk is in it.
Oh, interesting. He's gonna be dead by the end of that movie.
Oh yeah, obviously. Yeah. So the star is Felicity Jones, who has been in Stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, Stuff.
No, it's important.
And then any other names there that I recognize? Oh, Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker's going to be in it, and so is Mads Mikkelsen.
I don't know who that is.
He's Hannibal in Hannibal.
Oh, that's another show that's been on my radar, but I haven't watched.
Yeah, so there's that's going to be interesting. I am looking forward to that. That's less than a year away.
Oh, right. Yeah,
That's
wow.
December 16th, 2016.
Jeez, Disney's really cranking these out.
And then episode 8 is just 5 months after that.
Oh, wow. That is a tight schedule. I guess it helps that they have different casts and crews and stuff.
Yeah, I think it well, that's one thing, but another thing is I think The Force Awakens got delayed. It was originally supposed to come out in May, which is the sort of traditional Star Wars release month.
Huh.
But I think it got delayed partially because of script rewrites and partially because of Harrison Ford's injuries.
Ah.
Yeah, he got injured on set.
Oh, right. I remember hearing about that. I don't remember. So, well, I guess we wouldn't know actually what he got injured doing, but just something.
Yeah, it was something about like a door falling on him. So it could have been
wow.
in the freighter sequence where there's those those blast doors that are opening and closing.
Oh, right. Yeah. Huh. Wow. Yikes. It's dangerous doing these
Yeah, and
movies.
then he was in a plane crash not long after that.
Oh, that's right. I remember reading about that. Yeah. Yeah, geez. But yeah, so... right, because specifically what I remember is all the piloting jokes that were Star Wars related that I remembered reading after that incident. But yeah, okay, yeah, wow, huh. So how long have they been working on episode 8 though? Like...
I think episode 8 they haven't started principal photography.
Oh wow!
But the script is done. And I think they're probably going to have to wrap up about a year before the release, so they'd have to finish it by around May, I think. Because that's if they're going to a similar schedule as episode 7.
Right. Huh. Yeah. Well, yeah, and I certainly if right, if episode 7 was also delayed just for script rewrites, like I feel like whatever they were rewriting was absolutely worth it, because like I feel like it hit like really all the right notes, and it didn't feel like, I don't know, like, I mean, yeah, there's the points we mentioned about the map was kind of silly and stuff, but like, for the most part, I think it was all really well done, and like everything, oh man, I just like it all fit together really, really well.
Well, yeah, and I know they basically threw out what George Lucas gave them. That's my understanding. Like George Lucas gave them treatments for the sequel trilogy, and that was part of the deal when Lucasfilm was bought from Disney. That was one of the things they were buying. Was bought by Disney rather. And I guess they kind of threw it out their window and did their own thing. And then they brought on Michael Arndt, who was the screenwriter on Toy Story 3.
Oh, wow.
And he kind of wrote the first draft of The Force Awakens, but they had a lot of things they had to rework. And so then, like, J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi,
right,
he got involved too. So the screenwriting credit now is Kasdan, Abrams, and Michael Arndt together.
Interesting.
So I think it went through a lot of revisions.
Wow. I wonder what that's like for George Lucas. Has he seen this movie?
Yeah, he I know he saw it, and I think what he said was some kind of like it was kind of like he gave it a backhanded compliment. Like he said something like this is the movie I guess people want, or something like that.
Oh, wow.
It was something along those lines.
Not bitter at all. Yeah, wow. I don't know.
Or like the people who have been mad about my movies are going to love this, or something like that. It was, I forget what it was exactly, but it was like it was praise, but it was also like kind of backhanded.
Wow. Well, I mean, I don't feel bad for him, because like he's probably rolling around in money right now. So
oh yeah,
I can't, like, I mean, that's got to be weird though. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, is like, he certainly had really tight control over the prequel trilogy. And, I almost want to see the alternate universe where where Lucas actually got to write and direct episode 7, just to see what he thinks we should have wanted, as opposed to what we actually wanted.
Yeah, here's what he said. He said, "I think the fans are going to love it. It's very much the kind of movie they've been looking for."
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, that's a little backhanded there.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I think when episode 1 was originally, kind of a gleam in his eye.
Yeah.
I think he was shopping around for other people to direct it, but no one wanted to.
What?
And I think it was because no one wanted the weight of those expectations.
Right.
And they all said, "Oh, George, you should do it." And look how that turned out.
Right. Well, now hang on. Did Lucas direct all of the original trilogy or any of the original?
Well, he directed the first one.
Oh, okay. But not the other ones.
No.
So there's been weight on other people's shoulders. But yeah.
Yeah, that was like after a long time. This was like,
right.
The big. It was like the same level as this, like with the big hype. And I think, yeah, I don't know. And that's one of the reasons why I think J.J. Abrams was like the right person for this job, because he's like, I don't know. This is like the perfect vision of like what a J.J. Abrams, Star Wars, what you'd want from that.
Right. Exactly.
Like this is like his super fun Star Wars, thing, kind of in the same vein as his first Trek movie.
Well, right.
Although I think it's a lot better than either of his Trek movies.
I'd probably agree with that. Well, and I think that's the thing is like I think or I've heard complaints from Trekkies, I guess, who don't like the J.J. Abrams movies because they don't.
Oh yeah.
They're not in the same vein, I guess, as what Star Trek, what Star Trek is supposed to be. In terms of like, I don't know, to explore new and strange worlds and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. And I understand those complaints, but like, I feel like, and I, in some sense, I think J.J. Abrams kind of turned it and made it more like a swashbuckling kind of adventure that Star Wars really is. And I feel like it like his kind of filmmaking just like fits so well into like what Star Wars is supposed to be. Yeah, and so like the net result is just this is this, and it's wonderful. Like
yeah, I actually it felt, there were parts of it where it kind of felt like Lost to me. like just shot compositions and stuff like that, like the pilot of Lost.
Yeah.
Like there were like the big sweeping helicopter shot of the island at the end, and things like that. But
oh yeah, Hollywood and Vines would have been great there.
Exactly.
yeah, that would have been perfect. Oh man.
Yeah, and I mean, it even had Greg Grunberg in it.
Who's that?
Greg Grunberg, who he was probably most notable for being on Heroes, but he played the pilot in Lost.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that was him. Okay.
He played the X-wing pilot, Skip Wesley or something like that.
Okay.
He had some like doofusy pilot name. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. I recognized him, but I couldn't place him. Okay.
Oh, and also the dude from the dude who played Miles on Lost was in this too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was fun seeing J.J. Abrams alums, back for another J.J. Abrams thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. Like, I do have like a minor question. How common is it for people to actually be able to speak to astromech droids and understand them?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because am I wrong, or is it that like in all the other movies, the only one who's understood him is 3PO?
It seems to me,
when I say him, I mean any astromech droid.
Right. It seems to me that that's true. Luke, I mean, when he's piloting the X-wing, he talks with R2, but there's a readout on his computer.
Oh, right.
Which seems to spell out what R2's saying. And I think there are some times in Return of the Jedi where it's like he's talking to R2, but it's not clear that he understands specifically what R2's saying. He just kind of gets the gist of how R2 feels about something from the sound of his chirps.
Right. The sound of his chirps.
Yeah, but it's clear that Poe and Rey can speak that.
Yeah.
And Finn absolutely cannot.
Right. Yeah. And that's leveraged for some comedy in the film, which yeah. So all right, and I guess we can just chalk it up to like a lot has happened in 30 years. The language of astromech droids is now known, and we can now speak it, I guess.
Yeah, someone can at least.
Right. Well, that's the thing is like how many astromech droids has has Rey really come into contact with that she's been able to learn their language, or is she just that good?
Well, it could be that she picks up some kind of droid language from her salvage operations.
That could be. Yeah.
It's not incredibly clear under what circumstances she would, because she's salvaging from the wreckage of an Imperial of a group of Imperial Star Destroyers. So I don't really know if they had those, but
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
It could be one of those mysteries. I'm fine with not knowing why so many people can understand astromech droids now. That's fine.
She also understands Chewie, right?
That's true. Yes, she does. Huh. I don't know. This might be some kind of force thing. Well, I mean, I don't know about the astromech droids because they're not really force beings. Well, who knows?
There's a so non-canon it was never canon comic about the droid in A New Hope that R5D4
right
being force sensitive and seeing R2's great destiny and destroying his own motivator just to give R2D2 the push in the direction of his fate.
Oh, I love the expanded universe.
Yeah, this was never canon, but it's now even less canon.
Right, yeah. Oh, that's too bad, though. That sounds amazing. Okay, so it could very well be that it's just like Rey is so into the Force she doesn't even know it, but she's able to understand languages that she's never heard before. Unless, I don't know, do they get a lot of Wookiees around those parts, like around Jakku?
It's not clear.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, this could all be covered in the sequel movies if they want to take the time away to do that,
or in novels and comics.
Oh yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. That this is much better material for novels.
Yeah,
we can get into the nuances of how Rey picked up all these languages.
Here's another thing I'm kind of wondering. What's with Max von Sydow's character?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's his deal?
Yeah, what is his deal? So
he knows that Kylo Ren is actually Ben Solo.
Right, because he makes that quip about running from family or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever he says.
And he clearly knows Leia. He says, like, oh, she'll always be royalty to me.
Right.
And for some reason, he has the piece of the map.
Right. Yeah.
So, who's that guy?
Well, right. So now... No, wait, he didn't play anyone in any of the other movies, did he?
No.
No, okay. So, yeah, so we don't know anything about him.
Yeah, the only things that I've gleaned from my attempts to research secondary sources on the internet is his name is Lor San Tekka.
Okay.
Which is very helpful.
Oh, yes.
And he is a member of the Church of the Force.
Okay.
Which is a bunch of, like, non-Jedi who just super like the Force. They can't use it, but they just love it.
That's like a fan club.
They love it to bits.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like Linda.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Huh. All right. That's interesting.
That's another thing I actually love about Rey. Rey is such a big fan of everything.
Oh, yeah. I love how excited she got.
Yeah, she's, like, constantly in, like, badass survivor mode. I don't need anyone. I don't need anything. And then all of a sudden, like, literally anything that's in front of her, she's like, oh, Luke Skywalker. He's like, you're a resistance pilot. There's so many trees on this planet. I love trees. Yeah, she just, like, completely freaks out about everything, and it's great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's so good. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was funny, actually, that she knew Han Solo as a smuggler.
Yeah.
Whereas Finn knew him as the resistance fighter or whatever.
Or the rebellion fighter, not the resistance.
Fighter. Right.
It's very different.
No, right. So that's the third R. That completes the R trilogy of good guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, right. The rebellion fighter. Yeah, it's funny how he's known, I guess on Jakku at least, as being just a smuggler. But yeah, that's great. Well, that was the only thing he was ever good at. So,
I guess so.
Oh man,
were you sad when he died?
Of course, I was sad when he died. Of course, I was so sad.
I don't know. I just want Canon Chewie to go find Legends Han, who has lost his Chewie because a moon fell on Legends Chewie.
Oh my god!
And
I am so sad all this stuff has been rendered non-canon.
A moon fell on him while he was defending Anakin Solo, who was like dead within 2 years anyway.
Wow. Well, yeah. Okay. So here's the thing: Episode 8 would be taken in a very different direction if they suddenly revealed that there's a parallel universe where Chewie's dead and Han is alive, and then all this crazy stuff went down. I think, listen, J.J. Abrams is no stranger to parallel worlds or alternate timelines or what have you.
True.
So yeah, I think that this could
be. We need a flash sideways.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So that is within the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing: is the grief of a Wookiee. That's a powerful kind of grief. I imagine I could totally see this galvanizing Chewie to punch a hole in the universe or whatever to get to a version of Han Solo.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone's written that fanfic yet, because I know there's fanfic out there. I know there's already fanfic for The Force Awakens. Like, I was looking on Archive of Our Own. I saw someone posted a link on Tumblr to an AU fanfic where they're all in high school and Kylo Ren is running a talent show.
Oh wow. That sounds...
I did not read beyond the first paragraph, but I was like, well, I'm glad someone's, having fun.
I am so glad that the fan fiction engine is at full RPM already.
Yes.
It is already spun up and is producing great works, like an AU where all the characters are in high school.
I think that's one of the basics. That's one of the basic AUs.
Right, that's the warm up. Like you have to do this first just to calibrate your AU fanfics.
Well, yeah, and then you need to get more specific and to get like they're all in high school band.
Right, yeah.
Or like this is the prom fic.
Right, you gotta have all that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've seen every possible shipping combination as well.
I don't doubt it.
Like Kylo Ren and General Hux, that's a popular one.
Oh, it would be. I could see that.
Rey and Finn, Rey and Poe, Poe and Finn.
I think I might ship Poe and Finn.
They're just so happy to see one another.
They really are. It's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Rey and Kylo.
Okay. Yeah.
They might turn out to be related, but
yeah.
For now, Rey and Kylo.
Yeah.
And maybe even after they turn out to be related.
Hey, you never know. Yeah. Wow.
All the great ships.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Wow. It's all in front of us. So many ships.
It's only just begun.
It really has.
The movie's been out for less than a week.
Yeah.
I'm sure there must be Chewie and Maz Kanata, because I like that Wookiee.
Oh yeah, it's built in.
Yeah, it's canon.
That's the most overt of them. Yeah.